Uh, Good evening, friends. How are you all doing? I think it's quite some time we last met, more than 20 days odd. I hope it's the same group I'm interacting or any new faces. You can always tell me. Okay, so today's, I'm doing good. Ishwar, I remember reading your name in my earlier sessions as well. So today's topic is very interesting. How do you beat stress and anxiety? How do you get rid of anxiety? So can anyone tell me what is the reason of your anxiety? What creates anxiety in you? One person, if you can just name it. And while I'm hearing from you, I would want to tell what exactly do I do. I am a mindset and wellness coach, and I do one-to-one sessions, group sessions. I've shared my social media links. Mean it means we are trying to think about something that is in future, right? So when we think about future, when we think about something that is beyond career tension, yeah, exactly the same thing, Ishwar. So when we think about something that is not in the present, about future, we create anxiety in ourselves, right? And the second thing is uh, results, something that is not in our control. What is in our hands? We can put in efforts, we can do whatever we can, right? We can put in our efforts, we can perform, but results not in our hands. So when we think about results, we create anxiety, right? So how do we get rid of it? How do we anybody get into that very often? It's because that is how we have framed our mind. That is how we have a thinking pattern, a set pattern. Human brains, human minds work in a way, there's a programming. There's a programming which is there from years together, right? Whatever your age is, 20, 25, 30, whatever. So 20 years programming. Anand, I'll tell you how do we. I'll come to your question of how to stop overthinking, because overthinking is also one of the prime reason why you create stress, why you create anxiety, right? So when you live in the moment, now to answer, if I have to give you one answer, how to get rid of. I'm not saying you don't think about what has gone wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying when you live in the present moment, you will automatically bring all these stress, anxiety, overthinking problems. You'll just cut it short. You will just get rid of all that. And how do you do that? See, today, you all are sitting with me in my session, right? Now, be very, very honest. How many of you are actually with me? And okay, who is not completely 100% with me? If you can just raise your hand or just say, just type your name I, because this is what happens with everybody. Even with me, it happens, right? What happens is if we are attending a session, or if you're doing anything, any place, listening to me. That's what is living in the present. Don't get me wrong, nothing against what you mentioned. But see, this is what happens when we are not 100% where we are physically. Oh, my voice is breaking. How do I? Is it audible now? Is it better now? Are you able to hear me better? Okay. So, uh, what we were talking is living in the moment. So, wherever you go, if you are in that moment, 100% physically, yes, your presence will be there. But mentally also, if you're there, then what will happen is you will not think about what you're going to do after you finish that event, what you did before coming to the event. anxiety. Anxiety is nothing but overthinking, and overthinking about something that is not in your control. See, so many things, anything. See, what is in our control? What we think, what we do is in our control, right? What the other person thinks, what the other person will do, is it in any way in our control? No, it isn't. It is not in our control. But what we as humans, what we do is we try to control and change people's thinking. We try and control and change other people's behavior. In that gamut, we create so much of anxiety, so much of stress, so much of fear. Everything, any negative emotion that you experience is when we try to control things that are not in our control, things that are so when you create that anxiety in yourself, ask one question: is this anxiety or is this stress that I'm taking or creating, is it real or is it my perception? Are things going to be really bad to that extent? Again, is it, oh my god, is it better now? Okay, maybe there is some internet problem, but is it better now? Let me come closer. Okay, okay. So fine. Let me just see. Okay. Now, if at all it goes, then I'll start using. Bad as you think. Okay, just guys, give me 1 minute. I'll remove this. Now, can you hear me? How is it better? Okay, let's do away with that device. I thought that gave better clarity. It could cut off the surround sound. Nevertheless, so let's go back to our main topic. So, can anybody tell what else creates anxiety or what else stresses you? What are the thoughts that come to you? So, one thing is, we need to understand one thing. We are not perfect. We will do mistakes. We will have flaws in whatever we do. We are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So, if you're trying to be perfect and creating stress and anxiety because of that, it's really not required. It's pointless. Stop torturing yourself by doing that. Do your best, that's it, and live in the present moment. I always emphasize, you live in the present moment. Don't think about past, because past is something that is gone. You can't do anything about it. And yes, future, I'm not saying don't plan, but you have to plan, but you can't uh, create stress and unhealthy mental state for yourself. Now I'll give you one example. I like giving examples. Okay, now you think about a plate. Okay, you go for dinner or you go for a buffet. Yeah, because thinking about something that was very bad in the past can create stress or anxiety. But tell me how helpful it is when you think about it. Are you able to undo things that went wrong? Or are you able to redo things that you really wanted it to be like? If your answer is yes, I would say you please continue doing about it. Please continue thinking about it. If your answer is no, then stop it at that very minute, because it's not helping you do anything better. It's only bringing your energy levels down. And when your energy levels are going down, you will not be able to perform anything that you have on your hand perfectly. It eventually affects your mental and physical health, whatever we think. Now, I was just giving you an example of a plate. If you go for a buffet, you have a lavish spread. Go to any five-star, you have a lavish spread of buffet. You will eat. If you take everything, do you think that is something your stomach will be okay and you'll be able to digest everything? You want to eat everything, I mean 20, 30 items. If you eat the next day, what you will find, your stomach is upset, right? Because you've eaten everything that was not suiting your gut. Now what happens, the same thing happens with our mind. When you have so many past, present, future ka thoughts running, your mind becomes very, it becomes very uneasy and becomes unrestful. That is where your anxiety and stress are created. So don't take so many things. And what is the kind of information? Like, have you have a spread in buffet? You choose what will suit you, right? If you're allergic to curd, if you're allergic to milk, you will not take milk products, or you will not take anything that has curd in it. So you only choose and eat what suits your body, what suits your gut. The same thing. If when you have to choose your thoughts, you have to be very, very selective. You have to think about something, or the thoughts that bring you some confidence, some happiness, only bring those thoughts. Thinking about the unpleasant past, is it helping you? If it is not giving you any happiness, you should just not think about it. And you have to be very vigilant and very conscious in choosing your thoughts. Because what happens if you bring in, like in that platter, if you bring in something that you're allergic to, it will show reaction. So similarly, the mind is showing reaction when you've chosen thoughts that are not helping you, which is affecting your mental health. So when those thoughts keep coming, I'm not saying it doesn't come, it comes. All human, we have been trained, our brain has been programmed in a way that we keep thinking. And like somebody mentioned, that overthinking, it happens. But how do you stop? Now you know that this is the challenge that you're facing, overthinking. Whenever you feel it is overthinking is happening, you stop there and decide what are the thoughts you want to continue at this point. What is it that you can do away with? Because end of the day, anything you do is going to drain. It's going to drain you of your energies. Any questions so far? And am I audible now? That's the bigger question. Otherwise, I'll go on, and you will not be able to hear anything. Okay. So now you tell me what. Great. And whenever you feel that you're getting anxious, you want to quit, you always feel that you want to quit, you don't want to do few things, you need to remind yourself you're a fighter. You just can't give away. Giving away is very easy, and sailing through is something that one must do. We're not born to give up, we're not born to break up, right? Break down, sorry. We're not here to break down at small incident that happens. Human life is very precious, and life is very, very beautiful. No questions, Tushar, very nice. It is very beautiful. All you need to do is take care of what you think. And how does emotions come up? See, stress, anxiety are all emotions, right? And how do you create your emotions? It's by your thoughts. So what you're thinking is very important. And what does your how can we focus more on solution than problem? Okay, Anirudh, to answer your question, there are two scenarios. There are people who have a problematic view and who have a solution based view. So you will come across now. People you mingle around is also very important when it comes to what are your thoughts and what are your emotions on a day-to-day basis. If you are surrounded by people who are very optimistic, very positive, and very lively, you will hardly feel these negative emotions coming through. But if you are always surrounded by people who are always crying, cribbing, complaining, not so happy, not thankful at all for whatever they have, then what is the kind of feed you're giving to your mind and your thoughts is life is stressful, there is so much, you're lacking so much. So it's all negative, and these thoughts create all negative emotions, and that's how you get into these negative emotions like stress, anxiety. Now, you will find two types of people, Anirudh. If there is a problem, okay. Now there are people who will only focus on the problem. Okay, this is the problem. This is the problem, and you will come across people who will. Okay, this is the problem. How do I resolve that? So when you are surrounded by people who are focused on solution, that is when you will change your mindset to a solution based mindset than a problematic mindset. So now how do you focus more? Now what you can do is, if whatever your problem is, it could be small, it could be big. Now the size of the problem is immaterial. You have to accept, okay, this is a challenge or this is a problem in my life. First thing is acceptance of the situation. Once you accept the situation, you will be able to find a solution. Yeah, the other way is you will always say, no, I don't have a problem. You shy away, you run away, or you try to avoid that problem. When you do that, you will never come to a solution. So first thing is accept that this is a problem in my life and I have to overcome it. So when you accept it, half the battle is won. What is the next step? List down. If this is the problem, what is it in my control that I can do immediately to find a solution or to resolve the problem? List it down and start taking one baby step at a time. See, anything will not vanish overnight or suddenly, immediately. So anything you require will take some time, and take one baby step at a time. One step each day, every day will take you to your solution. That's how it works. Like they say, na, Rome was not built in a day. Same thing. Your problems will not get resolved in a day. Some may not. That doesn't mean you don't have a solution. That doesn't mean your problem is bigger than your solution. No, no problem is bigger than in your solution. Always solutions are bigger and better than your problems. Keep that in mind. And whatever challenge you have, face your challenge in with that thought. But okay, this is only small. The capacity, my capacity to overcome is much more than the problem itself. When you go all out with that mindset and with that frame of mind, you will see that there is so much more you can do, and your problem will become such a small thing. It will become a very small thing in life. Did I answer your question, Anirudh? Okay. Now, welcome. And now, what you need to understand, see, if anxiety is something that you are regularly going through, or there is a possibility, people could be getting anxiety attacks or panic attacks or something like this. So, if this is a regular thing that you're going through, you need to do one thing is you need to identify what is the trigger, what situation or what uh, event is causing this anxiety. Is there any person with whom you interact and that causes anxiety? Is there any event or any thing in the office work area? What are some common misconceptions? uh, Misconceptions is anxiety is something that our people are giving you, people are making you anxious. That is the biggest misconception or myth. Anxiety is your own creation. That is one thing you need to understand. And anxiety is your own creation, and only you can get rid of it. Nobody else can help you get rid of it. Of course, you can take help of external tools like meditation, your soothing music, or go in a quiet corner, go to a temple, go to a place where you find solace, where you feel better, where your mind calms down. Anxiety is nothing where your mind is not at all calm, it is very disturbed. Yeah. So in that situation, you don't try to fight through it. First is relax, calm your mind down. And for that calming your mind, I have a very simple breathing thing. It is square breathing, I call it. So uh, it's 4 counts inhale, 4 counts exhale, 4 counts hold, and 4 counts repeat it that way. 4 counts inhale, 4 counts hold, 4 counts exhale, 4 counts hold. When you do this kind of breathing, your mind becomes very calm. And when your mind is calm, you will be able to understand the situation. That anxiety level will definitely come down when you calm your mind down. And this you can do with this kind of square breathing or any normal breathing or taking deep breath, whatever helps, whatever suits you. Each individual is different. Each individual, anything, not one solution is good for everyone. So whatever suits you, if it is a square breathing, it is a normal, regular, deep breathing, please do that. Calm your mind, accept the situation, accept the place where you have reached. Then identify what is the trigger. And if it happens on a regular basis, what are the series of incidents or events that is causing this anxiety? Write it down. It is very important for you to write it down. Is it when I have to travel? Is every time you travel you get anxious, you may miss your flight, you may get delayed for your train flight, whatever it is, or you may when it comes to your month end, do you get anxious? You feel that you're missing your deadlines, you will not be able to complete your targets or anything. If that is the thing, then you need to write it down. How often do you feel anxious and what are the triggers at that point in time? And why do I say you write it down? So that you know what it is. And when you know what it is, you know how to handle that situation better. Every time you will be required to travel, you will be required to fly. You can't afford to get anxious just with the thought that I may lose my flight. I may miss my flight, sorry, or I may miss my train,
or I may miss my targets. That's not advisable and that's not healthy at all. So it's better you write it down. And next, when you have written it down, you also write down the answer to it. Okay, targets are there. I put in my best. Result is not in my hands. So I'm not going to get anxious. When you write that down, what will happen? Your mind, your brain, it reads, and it is an instruction you're giving to your mind. Every time when you see that your targets are on the higher side and you find it challenging, your mind will automatically say you will have an internal dialogue that will bring your anxiety down. It will only tell you, okay, targets are not met, but I have put in my best. So let me look at what I have done. Let me look at my plus what I've done this time, and what went wrong will be definitely tackled in the next month. This is the internal automatic dialogue that you will develop when you write down the triggers and answers to it. Mahesh, that's what I think. That's what I'm explaining. If anything that I'm missing, you can always write back to me. Getting rid of anxiety. Yeah, you write down the triggers. What is it that is causing? Also, whenever you feel anxious, if you need to always you have your best friend, your sibling, your parents with whom you're comfortable sharing certain things. You go and talk to them. Don't keep those anxious thoughts within yourself, because don't suppress. I always encourage, don't suppress your feelings, because when you suppress your feelings, what will happen? It'll affect your mental health at that point in time, and later on it'll all affect your physical health. Suppressing your feelings is not advisable. Best thing is, don't create such negative feelings like anxiety, stress, depression. Just don't create them, right? And how do we not create? When we think right. And how do we think right? When we put the right inputs in your mind, when we surround ourselves with positive people, when we identify what the challenge is and have an answer, write an answer to it. And when you write an answer, your brain automatically reads that, feed that thing in your mind. Okay, this is the situation, this is in my control, this is not in my control. So be it. When even your internal dialogue, the language of your internal dialogue changes, you will automatically get rid of anxiety, stress, and any emotion that you are negative emotion that you're feeling going through. This is the best way, and this is the right way to go and tackle these things. And as I was mentioning, you talk it out. You have a friend, your close friend, your best friend. Talk it to him or her, whoever it is. That this is what is happening. At times, when you talk about it to someone, it helps. If it is your parents, your sibling, I'm sure they are the ones who will be there to support you to overcome some situation that you're going through in your life. And that's how you can minimize the immediate effect on it. Because when you're going through anxiety or stress, anxiety attack, it's something that only the one who's going through can understand, right? So Mahesh, did I answer your question? So all see, in a nutshell, if I have to tell you, any emotion, whether it be stress, anxiety, fear, it is nothing but our response to the situation or an event that is outside, right? That is not in our control. When it is our response. So when we decide how to respond to a situation, we change the whole scenario. We change the whole picture of our life. Can we not think about responding in a positive way, in a way that will help us and not put us in a situation where we are at somebody's mercy when we have to take some external help? You have to go for counseling, you have to go for, under medication. We come across so many people who are for anxiety attacks and panic attacks. They are given some drugs, some medicines to overcome. Now, medicines, what they do, drug therapy, what they do is they work on the limbus brain, on the emotion part. And when you take, if someone is under depression or under anxiety attack, when they are on medication, their brain, the limbus, the emotional mind, the middle part of our brain, it becomes very dull. If any of you have taken any such medication, you could relate to what I'm saying. You will become very numb. You can't think. You will become very dull. You become dull when you take medication for any kind of mental illness. And physiotherapy, that is the exercise or something that will work on your neocortex, that is the frontal, your planning brain, the brain which the part of the brain which helps you decide. So when you get into exercising more, doctors generally advise, when you have some mental illness or something, they generally insist on doing some physical exercise. It could be walk, it could be gymming, yoga. So when you do that, that helps on the neocortex, and the drugs help on the limbus, as I said. So you become emotionally, you become very blank, and becoming blank is not something really, you become so dull. Why do you want to get into that situation? And yes, that's true. People become, because they like that state when when their mind is not creating any anxiety, any stress. When you take, it is more like a drug, right? People who take drugs, what are they doing? They are facing some situations in life which they are not comfortable. They're not comfortable in the situation. They're not able to change. So they just take those drugs and they become numb. They don't understand. They're in a different world. And when they don't take those drugs, they have those withdrawal symptoms and all. So this is exactly what happens when you take any medication for your mental sickness. So I would always encourage people, don't get into a situation where you have to get into medication. Is it not right, and is it not wise to take charge of your thoughts and think wisely? And why get into these emotional situations? Think about it. Is it really required? I'm not saying it you willingly do it, but even at some point, if you get into a situation, take charge of the situation. Take charge of where you are. Take help from someone who's close to you. Take help at the right time. Because if you just, you may be going through few things over a period of time, not able to share. You've just succumbed. You've just suppressed it. And when you suppress it beyond a point, it one day it just comes out like a volcano. That's very dangerous. And if a certain thought causes anxiety, Vismaya, if a certain thought causes you anxiety, you need to identify. When you know what thought is causing you, you need to tell yourself that you are not supposed to think about it. You need to stop that thought immediately, because it's not helping you. It is only creating anxiety, which is draining you of your energy. Have you ever noticed, when you're stressed or when you're anxious, the energy levels suddenly go down? It just goes down. You just can't do anything, because you've been in a situation which was overwhelming at any point. So why are we getting into it? Why can't we do something that we just avoid, and we don't come to a place, we don't come to a situation where we have to go undergo all through this. If it is workplace and all, I would say, I mean, workplace, you need to talk to your seniors. You need to have a word with them. If you're overburdened, many a times it happens, it makes us feel low and we don't. Yes, exactly, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It drains you of the energy that you have. Any negative emotion, it could be fear, anxiety, stress, depression, being sad, overthinking, all these emotions are only draining you of the energy that you have. So what is the one thing I told you at the beginning of the session? What is it that can do all the miracles and help you avoid these negative emotions? Live in the present. So tell me, how many of you were with me through the session, living in the present? Be honest. When I asked earlier, nobody answered, but answer yourself, if not me. Were you there with me throughout the session, or you were thinking about something that has happened in the past, or something that you're going through right now? I'm not saying it is wrong, because that is how our brain has been trained. But now take charge. Tell, no, okay, that has happened. That's not in my control. Let me be here. Let me enjoy the moment. It could be my session. It could be just going out with your friend for dinner, or spending your time with your family, or even workplace. Why do we always curse the workplace? Workplace is so nice, right? It's so, you on your bread and butter. You learn so many new things at your workplace. Leave aside the politics and the uh, cribbing and complaining part which you or others may be doing. For workplace is a good place, which is where you're going, right? And if there are any ifs and buts and any problems that you're going through at your workplace, you need to talk to your seniors about it. Because we presume, okay, seniors are aware of it. No, they're not aware of it. Same way, at your place, if you're married, if you are facing any challenges in your married life with your in laws, or even your family at times, I've come across people, they are with their family, but parents are not understanding. Siblings are not understanding. At some point, children are not understanding. Children don't understand parents. I've dealt with them. So you need to talk to them. You need to make them understand. Need to make them realize that by their behavior, what is happening. Again, I'm not telling blame others, but have an open dialogue. See, this is because of this situation. I'm facing this challenge. So how can we improvise? How can we improve the thing? How can we improve situation, and how can we improve our relationship and the surroundings and the atmosphere around us? Have a dialogue with them, whoever it is. Any more questions, friends? Or did I answer your questions? How to get rid, how to not invite anxiety in your life? I would say don't invite. See, if there is anything that I've not covered or any more questions you have, you can write. Otherwise, we can always meet up for the next session. And I've already shared my social media links. You can follow me up there, and you can connect with me directly. Yeah. So, friends, have a great evening. And this is beginning of the week, so I can't say enjoy your weekend. So, beginning of the year, of course. So, have a very wonderful and fruitful year, and see you soon then. Yeah. Bye.